Hi, Total Recapped here. Today we will be going through the events of the 2017 black comedy thriller movie Happy Death Day, directed by Christopher Landon. Warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. At the beginning of the movie, a university student named Theresa Gelbman wakes up in a stranger, Carter Davis's dorm room. She is greeted by Carter but dismisses him and ignores a call from her father. She happened to end up in his room after a drunken party the previous night. It is her birthday today. She changes into her clothes as a shy Carter turns around. She tells him to keep this a secret and walks out of the room, almost running into Carter's friend. At her sorority, her housemate and friend Danielle invites her for a house meeting at lunch. Tree's roommate Spengler hands her a cupcake for her birthday, but a hungover Tree throws it into the bin claiming that it's too many carbs and leaves a disappointed Lori behind. After her class and sorority meeting, Tree goes to see her secret boyfriend and professor Gregory Butler at his office at the campus hospital. On her way, she runs into Lori, who works as a nurse there. She looks at Tree disappointedly and tells her what she is doing is not okay because Gregory is married. However, Tree brushes her off, asking her to mind her own business. As Gregory and Tree make out, his wife knocks on the door. They quickly compose themselves before she enters. That night, Tree leaves for a party while still ignoring her father's call, and is followed by a man wearing a mask. She comes across a birthday present lying on the ground and assumes that someone is trying to surprise her. As she inspects the object, the masked man chases her with a knife. A scared Tree runs for her life, but the man eventually catches up and stabs her to death. Tree suddenly wakes up panting in Carter's bed and realizes it was just a bad dream. She leaves the place, avoiding Carter's friend about to crash into her, as she goes on with her day and is confused by the events of her nightmare repeating themselves in sequence. It is as if she is reliving the day again. By the end of the day, she becomes paranoid of the masked man killing her again, so she avoids walking through the same path and makes it to the sorority. The girls had organized a surprise party for her. During it, she takes a boy named Nick to her room. Danielle is furious because she has a crush on Nick too, so she texts Tree wishing them both to die. Just then, the masked man from her nightmare appears in the room and kills both of them. Tree wakes up covered in sweat in Carter's room. She frantically leaves for the sorority and bumps into Carter's friend. The events repeat themselves again. Tree tells Lori about the nightmares, referring to them as deja vu, but Lori dismisses her. Scared of the masked man, she locks herself in her room and barricades her door and window. Sometime later, her TV starts to flicker. The masked man somehow appears from her washroom and kills her again. She again wakes up in Carter's dorm room screaming in fear. Confused and scared, she runs to her dorm room. The same events repeat again. She finally asks Carter for help at lunch and tells him about her reliving the same day for the fourth time in a row. Carter is skeptical but suggests she take advantage of the loop and find out about the killer. Starting from the next day, Tree takes Carter's suggestion and spends the next few days following the people she suspects to be the killer. She first goes after her one-time date Tim, but catches him in his room looking at gay porn. After dying again, she goes after Gregory's wife Stephanie, but the killer drowns her. Then she suspects Danielle, but ends up dying on her own after the two get in a fight and they get hit by a bus. After being killed this many times, one day she wakes up in pain and passes out in Carter's room. He rushes her to the campus hospital where Gregory treats her. The hospital takes her x-ray to find out that she has sustained internal damage from her previous deaths. Gregory tells her that she should be dead right now. Tree now suspects Gregory might be the killer. Frightened, she tries running away from the hospital. She looks for car keys in Gregory's office and she finds the killer's mask. Sure that he is the killer, she tries to sneak out but runs into Gregory again. To her surprise, the masked killer from behind kills Gregory. Tree manages to run away from the hospital in a car. On her way, she is stopped by the police for speeding. She lies to the officer, saying that she's drunk and high so that she can be in a cell and avoid the killer. However, when she is handcuffed and put in the police car, the killer hits the cop and sets her car on fire with a birthday candle. An exhausted Tree wakes up in Carter's bed yet again. Carter follows her outside that day. She tells him about her recurring day, but he is skeptical. She then proves to him that she isn't lying by correctly pointing out things that are about to happen, like a car alarm going off, sprinklers being set off, and a group of activists standing together while one member drops to the ground. Carter takes her to a nearby diner where the two chat about her situation. She reveals that she was really close to her mother, who shared a birthday with her, but died 3 years ago. She also reveals that her relationship with her father got worse after her death. As they talk, they see a news report on TV about a serial killer named Joseph Toombs, who goes after young women. Believing that Joseph is the killer, she flees to the hospital he is being held in to kill him before he kills her. At the hospital, she finds out that the man has already killed the security guard. Suddenly, the masked man appears there and starts chasing Tree with a gun. He unmasks himself, revealing that he is in fact Toombs. As he is about to kill Tree, Carter jumps in to save her, but eventually is killed too. Tree runs away from him as Toombs chases her. He finally gets her under a bell tower, but Tree manages to incapacitate Toombs. Before she can kill him, she figures that if the day doesn't reset and the loop ends, Carter will remain dead forever. She runs to the top of the bell tower and hangs herself before promising to find Toombs again. The following day, Tree wakes up in a positive mood. She hugs a confused Carter and thanks him for trying to save her life. She then asks him to lend her a pillow and leaves the room, leaving him stunned. She happily goes on with her day, a total opposite from the personality she had before the loop started. She signs the papers for a girl who she always used to ignore, warns the students about the water sprinklers, and puts the pillow on the ground for the guy who always falls. When Tim approaches her, she tells him she knows he doesn't like girls and that he should be free to love who he really wants, leaving him delighted. At the sorority, she is friendly to Lori and apologizes to her for being the worst roommate. Tree then interrupts Gregory's lecture and pulls him out to tell him she is breaking up with him. She also asks him to either be faithful to his wife or leave her. During their sorority meeting, Tree eats a full tray of junk food and calls out Danielle for being fat-phobic. When she tries to humiliate her, Tree takes a glass of chocolate milk and pours it on Danielle's head. She then kisses Carter in front of everyone and invites him to her birthday party later. He watches her leave with a huge smile on his face. After the sorority meeting, Tree meets her dad at a restaurant for the first time since the loop started. She admits to him that it's been hard since her mother died, and he reminded Tree of her mom, so she tried to avoid him as much as possible. She cries and apologizes to him for hurting him. The two then laugh to lighten the mood as they have lunch. After lunch, Tree prepares herself to face Toombs. She walks into the hospital where he is being held and goes up to the security guard with a knife to take his gun. She then tells him that the killer is about to escape and makes him go call for backup. She walks into Toombs' room where he pretends to sleep. She confronts him for posing and bravely points the gun at him. Toombs gets up and she tries to shoot him, but the gun doesn't work because she forgot to take the safety off. Taking the opportunity, Toombs swats the gun out of Tree's hands and attacks her. As he tries to stab her with a knife, she kicks him in the crotch and saves herself. Toombs then throws Tree around, easily overpowering her. Tree lies on the floor as the man approaches her while laughing maniacally. However, Tree's wristwatch starts beeping, notifying her of the power cut that has been happening at the same time in every loop. Tree takes this chance to escape. When the power comes back, Toombs sees that she has disappeared. All of a sudden, she appears behind him with the gun. She takes the gun's safety pin off this time and finally shoots John Toombs dead. She then happily goes to meet Carter and blows the candle on the cupcake that Lori had made for her, wishing that tomorrow is different. However, Tree wakes up in Carter's bed the following morning. The birthday ringtone plays. It's still Monday the 18th. She freaks out and screams that she has already killed him. Killing Toombs did not stop the loop. Frustrated, she runs out of the place. When she reaches her room, she frantically starts packing her bag. She wants to run away from the place to see if the loop stops. Lori again offers her the cupcake. Tree replies that she had already eaten the cupcake last night. It suddenly hits her that Lori had poisoned the cupcake and killed her in her sleep. In her previous days, Tree had never eaten the cupcake, so Lori had to find another way to kill her, so she disguised herself as the serial killer Joseph Toombs. Since she works as a nurse in the hospital, she had easy access to Toombs. Tree confronts her about seeing her plan unfold. Lori tries to brush her off. Tree tries to make Lori eat the cupcake and even threatens to bring it to the police for forensic testing. Lori panics and pushes Tree to the wall. With no other way, she comes clean. She admits to being in love with Dr. Gregory, who always chose Tree over her. Hence, Lori, filled with jealousy, planned to kill Tree. She then attacks Tree and the two fight for a while. In the end, Tree manages to stuff the poisoned cupcake into Lori's mouth and kicks her out of a second-story window. She falls to concrete and finally dies. The following day, Tree yet again wakes up in Carter's room. Her phone starts ringing with the same happy birthday tune. Carter again asks her the same question and she begins to panic. However, Carter quickly admits that he was playing a prank on her, and it is the 19th of July. Tree is relieved and the two laugh about it. They kick out Carter's friend when he tries to come back inside and kiss. And that was my recap of the movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was and make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, this has been Total Recapped.